Hey YouTube, what's going on? Figured it was time for an update. I've made some changes to the tank, so figured I'd get you guys a little bit of a short peek. This isn't going to be quite as long a video as usual, because it's not been that long since I've done an update. You can kind of see the existing fish in here. You can kind of see what's going on with them. Everything's just kind of growing and doing well. But anyway, I did take out some of the Central American stuff. At least the more aggressive specimens. The barred Midas came out. The Jag was actually killed. Um, just a kind of a freak deal. All of a sudden, he was fine in the morning when I fed, and I came in at lunch 4 hours later, and he was just killed. I don't know what. Don't really know what happened. Something just snapped, and I kind of have suspicions that it was maybe the Umbi. Him and the one female Loisel were kind of over in that same area, and I'm kind of wondering if he wasn't really even all that roughed up, just kind of wondering if maybe just one single blow type deal did some kind of internal damage. And sorry, got the cat being pushy and jumping up on my lap, so excuse the kind of shaky camera. Anyway, wonder if something of that nature happened. Anyway, so it was time. Umbis are a fish that, even though they're very aggressive, they come from an area where there aren't a whole lot of other species that are aggressive besides other Umbis. And anybody who's had Umbis in the community tank, and specifically Umbis together, Umbis don't like to lip lock. They don't really do much of it. And that's something that Dan from Sickos of the Americas has told me back when I had my whole ordeal with Diesel with his lip got broken. And the infection thereafter is something that's very common in Umbis. They get an injury in their mouth, and then after that, the flagellates attach themselves to the wound, and between them and secondary infection, it kills the umbi. Anyway, and that's something that is often diagnosed as duck lips, and it may be, that may be a secondary infection, but that isn't what actually kills the fish. And the treatment for the most dangerous part of it, which is the flagellates, is actually very different from what you would treat that duck lips disease. With duck lips, the most common type of treatment is actually lowering the temperature and treating with kanamycin. That's what most experts kind of recommend. And with this, the reason why I was able to save Diesel was I actually turned the temperature up to 84 degrees and treated with Metro. For me, it was a tablespoon a day in a 55-gallon tank, and it's got to be bare bottom sterile tank. That's what the biggest key part of it is. Those flagellates live in every body of water that has fish. It doesn't matter what kind of a water change schedule you keep. It doesn't matter how well your maintenance is, what you feed. None of that matters. It's something that is always in these tanks, and so that's why moving the fish that's injured into a sterile tank, new filter, just freshly set up tank with fresh water is so key. And I also actually added half a cup of salt per 10 gallons too. Some people think that salt is kind of just old wives' tale, but for this it does, from what I understand, help restrict the breeding of the flagellates. Anyway, so I was successful. A lot of people that have had that same kind of issue happen and treated it as duck lips have not. So that's my 2 bits on that. And anyway, so I That's kind of why I did what I did. I didn't want a whole lot of lip locking going on. The umbies are so susceptible to it because they haven't evolved to endure that kind of a injury. Fish like Midas and Dovai live in areas where there's other aggressive cichlids that do lip lock, fighting for territory, and so over the years they've kind of become more immune to the infestation of the flagellates than some of your species from South America. Like I said, you have two umbies together, unless they're in cramped quarters, which most of the time they are, but in a big tank like this, like when I had my Gorillas male and diesel in here, they never lip locked. It was always almost more African cichlid type fighting, just very fast movement, spinning, biting each other's sides. They're not trying to test each other's strength. They're trying to kill each other. And so they're just not built for lip locking. Anyway, so kind of see how this stock works. It's been definitely more peaceful, not near as many squabbles. The only real squabbles I ever have are between the Red Devil and the Bacordi. So we'll kind of see how this goes. As far as new fish go, well, maybe I'll cover that when they come back out. I added 3 bifasciatus to the tank. So kind of excited for that. They're a species that's very colorful and I quite enjoy, so excited for them. And then I also just got a shipment in today of Rhodori, and as soon as they're done with quarantine, they'll also be added to this tank. So watch for that in the next update, and other than that, everything's just growing and doing their thing. Get down, Sultan. Sorry, that cat, I don't know what's gotten into him, but he hears me sitting here talking about this video, and he thinks that I need to be paying attention to him. Anyway, I also removed all of the smaller umbies but this one, and that's because I didn't see it. They've been moved to other tanks. I added one in with a female from Dan, a male, and they spawned within a couple of hours. So I have an umbie pair once again, and I'd show those guys tonight, but they're in my son's bedroom and he's asleep, so that's going to have to wait for another day. There's that. One of the bifas. See if I can get him up. Yeah. There's the cat. There's Sultan. He thinks that he needs to be the center of attention. So you know, I'm not really a cat guy. So I'm not all that patient with the cat. Turtle's doing well. Jeff was asking about him. It's a Mississippi map turtle. He's growing well. Doing his thing. Pretty active. Pretty fun. Get out, Sultan. For heaven's sakes. Attack of the cat. And then the Feste, AJ was frustrated with me that I didn't comment on the Feste, but as you can see they're doing well. This guy's probably 7 inches or so now. And every once in a while really colors up for me, so when he does, he is a very stunning fish. And the female actually tonight, just right before I started taking the video, you can see she's kind of barred up, but she was very, very red. So, very excited for her. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Just taking it day by day, see how things go, and adjusting when necessary, and letting everything do its thing. I don't expect that, other than adding a few things here and there, that the stock's going to change too much from this point. I'm very happy with everything that's in there, and it's been working very well. The Red Devil at some point may have to come out, but it's always been quite placid. It's kind of every once in a while goes around with the cordy, but it's just kind of flaring and opening their mouths at each other. And they've never actually, that I've seen, actually even walked up. So just keep doing what's needed, I guess. I have made some changes though. I've basically switched completely over to Southern Delight now, and it's not for any other reason other than just cost. The NLS is just going up in price more and more all the time. Most of the formulas that I use are $50 for 1,600 grams, and that works out to just over 3 pounds. So it's just too much. I'm feeding nearly a pound a week now between this tank and the rest of my other tanks, and just needed to make some changes. So the Southern Delight line has improved its ingredients, and for most of the fish I keep, the percentages, in my opinion, actually work better. I definitely have seen an increase in growth for my more predatory fish, for sure. So long term, I don't see it really being an issue either. I'm supplementing with other forms of food alongside the pellets as well, and the Southern Delight is certainly a balanced enough pellet, and for nearly $5 a pound less, I couldn't justify feeding the NLS anymore. So as you can see, my fish it's been over a month now for sure. I'd actually basically switched over from the time of my last video, so I've not seen any decrease in coloration, increase of wastes, this, that, the other. It's just like I never switched at all. So anyway, keep you guys updated on that. See how it works out as things go along. I actually haven't fed any. I have a little bit of NLS left, but I haven't fed any of it in probably 3 weeks. Just kind of trying to see what exactly the changes are, if any do occur. So, like I said, the only change I've really noticed is my larger, more predatory fish like the peacock bass and the umbi. They've definitely grown quite a bit faster, and that's because they accept it more. They will eat a lot more of the Southern Delight than they will the NLS. They got to where, with the NLS, they kind of just, especially the bass, the peacock bass have always been a species that, no matter what, they just don't really seem to love the NLS. Anyway, so we'll see. I've been a pretty diehard NLS guy for a long time now, so I'm interested to see exactly what I find as time marches on. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed, and stay tuned. I'll keep the updates coming. I'll maybe try and get a video of that umbi pair up here sometime in the next several days. So keep your eyes open for that, and maybe I'll take that video when their eggs hatch. They spawned within like 3 hours of introducing each other, so the eggs should hatch tomorrow and the day after. So I may at that point shoot another video. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see y'all next time.